64 Tacos Podcasts presents Is This Song Good? This is episode 54. Soundgarden, 4th of July.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Is This Song Good? A 64 Tacos podcast. We are continuing our Deep Dives series. Today we're going to be talking about the song 4th of July by Soundgarden from the album Superunknown. Superunknown is kind of the breakout album for Soundgarden. They had Bad Motorfinger before it, but Superunknown is definitely what got their name on the radios. Especially with the video from Black Hole Sun. That's my earliest memory of Soundgarden, is that insane video where everybody's staring up at the sun as it turns into a black hole and
Joker face.
Their faces all melt off. Yeah. And I was perfectly content to just listen to the singles, but then I got the album and started listening to it, and I know I've said this about probably 3 albums now from the 90s, but this is definitely one of the best albums from the 90s. It's good, every single track of it, and I had to pick a song from it, and I think 4th of July is the song that it's not the most radio friendly because it's just dark and dirty, and it kind of exemplifies the grunge movement that Soundgarden was at the center of. And I just love how dirty and gritty and dark the song is. I'm curious what you guys think.
Yeah, I love this song. What I like about this one, it's crazy because this Superunknown album has like 17 songs or something. It's a ton. It's like a super long record.
It's 15, yeah. It's 70 minutes, 15 songs. It is super long.
Yeah, so it's nearly a full what you could get away with on CD in those days, and they're all, like you said, they're all good. This one always stood out to me because it sounds like it's probably down tuned because the guitar riff is so low. Mm-hmm. And then like the bass is super dissonant too, so it's just like utterly sludgy, like it's just
right.
And it never really has that. It's not like you think of a song like Outshined off the previous album, which has a sort of like this sort of like cut through of melody and sort of lightness. Same with Black Hole Sun, like it's really melodic. This is like Soundgarden just like indulging in their most sort of like dissonant and dark, and it never really like lightens up.
Yeah.
But that makes it really memorable. I really, it's a funny thing about Chris Cornell is I'm not sure if his lyrics he's like a particularly great lyricist, because whenever I read them by themselves, I'm like, oh, this is okay. But when he's singing them, it's incredibly convincing. If I don't think about it critically.
Oh yeah. Well, he's one of the all-time great vocalists.
Yeah, like all these lines, which don't really make sense as a poem, really work in the context of the music and how he delivers it, which makes sense since he was the principal songwriter and he was coming up with most of the riffs anyway. But yeah, it's just it on an album of standout songs. This one is a great song, but it's like the most, like the heaviest, most sort of like dense sonically song on here. That's what always stood out about it to me. So I always liked it for that reason.
Yeah, when I got my Discman as a wee lad, I only had a few CDs, and this was one of them that I listened on repeat. I'd be doing my homework, and I'd have my Discman over on the side, and it would just go. And like you, I bought it for the. I heard Black Hole Sun on the radio a lot. I really liked that music video, and I bought it, and then I started listening to it, and I really like the feel of the whole album, and that how that the that time period when, you would buy something for one reason, and then you would just be able to like dig into it and really, really get to know the rest of the songs.
Yeah, the impetus for this whole series, basically.
Yeah, and the Fourth of July song was definitely one that you go through a lot of the more single friendly, if you will, tracks from the earlier half of the album. Mm-hmm. And then once you start getting into the last half, it kind of diverges and does some more interesting stuff. And then 4th of July just kind of like hits you in the face. And, and it's like this apocalyptic, sludgy, murky, feel in my mind, like even without really trying to focus on the lyrics or whatever, it felt like what would happen like if a nuclear bomb dropped,
right?
and it's just like sort of encapsulating that type of feeling. And what's funny about it is like the song is comforting to me.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like a sentiment that would come out of this type of song, but it really is. And I listen to it at least once a year on Independence Day. But usually more than that. Usually it'll come up in mixes. Usually I'll just want to listen to the whole Superunknown album. But it's just one of those songs that like has a special place. It's different than the singles. It's different from some of the sound of the rest of the album, but does it sound good, and it really feels comforting at times when you just need to when the world is kind of like melting around you, and you need something that's like, well, give me something a little darker than the rest of what's going on.
Right. Yeah. I think one of my favorite things about this song is the two vocal tracks that Chris Cornell sings on it. It's not obvious, but he's singing two different parts on a lot of the song, and it just adds this extra dynamic. He's got his baritone voice through that you hear, and is the focal point of the vocals. But then he's also got his higher range, which is a testament to his vocal abilities, and it just kind of adds this extra little element that just finishes the rest of the song.
Yeah, it's a little otherworldly. It sounds which fits with the tone, like you're saying, with the whole song and the feeling. It's interesting, Zach. I never thought of the a bomb going off, or the atomic bomb or whatever, but when I read the chorus, because I heard it in the wind and I saw it in the sky and I thought it was the end, I thought it was the 4th of July, kind of fits perfectly with that. Never occurred to me, but that could absolutely, it would absolutely work. Every 4th of July, now that Michigan got rid of or opened up the, we don't want Indiana to get our fireworks sales, so now you can buy whatever you want here. It's a war zone. Every the whole weekend's a war zone. I swear it's insanity. Mm-hmm. And 4th of July makes me think of destruction now. It's chaos.
Absolutely.
I don't know if you guys read it, but there was a little background that I guess someone was interviewing Chris Cornell, and he said the whole song came out of like an acid trip, and he was hearing like voices like 10 feet behind him while he was like walking down the street, and he even says like you wouldn't know any of this from the song or the song's lyrical content or whatever, but that's sort of where it came out of.
Yeah, it makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. And
yeah, I read that blurb too while I was looking at the lyrics, and one of the things he says in that interview from that magazine was that it actually made him feel good because he felt like he was with people, which is sort of interesting because it's not good to be thinking someone's following you or to hear voices, but like you said, oddly comforting to him, which comes across because the song's oddly comforting.
Right.
All right. Well, unless anybody's got anything else, what do we have next week, Dan?
We are going to do a Bob Dylan song, "Shelter from the Storm" off Blood on the Tracks. Look forward to that next week.
All right. Sounds good.
All right.
I caught it on audio.